Right, so in the previous video we have seen how we can invoke this REST call to get our post data, and let's see how we can invoke this function to get a specific post from our database. So it will be almost similar like this function. So I will quickly do that over here. So I don't need any of these functions right now because now I'm going to interact with the database, not the local instance of post.json. So I can remove all those stuff, and let's quickly create try catch block and make this function as asynchronous. And if there is an error, either way it will return this exception for the user, and if it is successful, it will return this successful message to the user. But of course we need to find the relevant data from our database. So I will name this as post. So I need to await, and I can call this model, and I can use this post by id function. So id comes with a request parameter, so I can simply call this request.params.id like this. And now we don't need to actually convert this back to integer, because in the previous previously we had this id as the integer. That's why we have implicitly typecasted or explicitly typecasted for a string. But if you look at this MongoDB document, basically id can be accessed as a string, right? So we don't need to reconvert our request parameter as an integer, right? Then once that post is found, we can simply return the post is found and it is there. But let's say somehow we haven't found this post, then it must make a message, maybe saying post doesn't exist or something like that. So what we can do is we can make if conditional check, and if this post not exist, let's make a fail message which having the message post not found, right? So that's all we need, and let's go to the post method again and get post by id function or REST API call, and we need existing id to achieve this task. So I will simply grab this id maybe. So this is post1, and let's remove 2 and paste that id over there and make the request, right? So you can see our post has been returned like this. But in case if I entered an invalid id, so we don't have a post with id 2, so it will simply create, it will simply make an exception for us, because we don't have a post with this id, right? So basically it will go to this line as well, right? Because since we are using asynchronous function, it will check whether the post exists or not, and if it is not exist, it will go to this error, right? So I think it handled internally, right? So we can automate that as well, but I think it add more complexity to this task. So therefore I will simply remove this line, right? But if it is exists somehow, it will return, or if it is not exist, it will return this message, right? So these messages are basically exceptions, and obviously we can improve this exception handling in further episodes, because this doesn't seems like a user-friendly message to our front-end users, right? So we can make those changes later on, but for now you can see if we entered a valid ID, then a post will return successful, right?